Today, we're looking at a green ink by Rohrer and Klingner, their alt Goldgrun. As always, there's timestamps down below so you can skip around, but it really would help me out if you check out this entire video. Also, if you're interested in green inks, there's a link to that playlist down in the description. Hi, I'm Adam, and I'm an ink guy. I get inks, test them, and share the results with you. Now, let's get into the first writing sample, 90 GSM Clairfontaine. No bleeding, no ghosting. The 1.1 has no feather spread, halo sheen, a very nice shading that's going on. You see the Rohrer part is much darker than the alt. Goldgrun shows a great deal of shading where it's going darker to lighter within the G, lighter to the O, darker to the L. It's just beautiful. Medium is a little bit lighter than the stub with no feather spread, halo sheen, great shading. Brown going from dark to light to dark, fox going light to dark, over light to dark. 15 seconds to dry. Medium is the same tone as the extra fine. With no feather spread, halo sheen, great shading once again. Quick going dark to light to dark to light to dark, gorgeous. Browns going dark to light to dark. 25 seconds to dry. The scrubby for both show us great tone variation because it has great tone variation. And the smear test, I think you could recover it if you smeared while you were writing. To have a range of experience with this ink, all of the writing samples are done with a Jinhao 159 with a 1.1 stub, a Jinhao X450 with a medium, and a Jinhao X750 with an extra fine. Then a Nimacine Fission with a broad nib was inked up, used for a day, and used to take the notes for this video. Let's look at the second writing sample done on 52 GSM Tomoe River. We have no bleeding, no ghosting. The 1.1 has no feather spread, halo sheen, not a lot of shading. It does have some darker spots like the R in a Rohrer is quite a bit darker. The extra fine is lighter than the stub with no feather spread, halo sheen, a very nice shading, brown going from dark to light to dark, fox going light to dark, over light to dark. 23 seconds to dry. I normally don't see a ton of great shading on the Tomoe River, and it is happening here. Medium is about the same tone as the extra fine with no feather spread, halo sheen, great shading. Quick goes dark to light to dark, brown goes dark to light to dark, fox goes dark to light to dark. Yeah, it's a constant story here. 35 seconds to dry. The scrubby for both shows some color variation. It's much better in the writing. And the smear test, there's a chance you could recover it if you smeared while you were writing. I agree with Vita. There's a lot to learn by doing multiple chromatographies. The one on the left is done the way it's supposed to be done. A line of ink is put down and then it's put in the water for 10 to 15 seconds. And we really get to see why this ink shades so well. Look at that pink. It's kind of a light salmon pink at the bottom. And it's pushing its way up. And then we get what appears to be an orange, but I can't tell if that orange is a mixing with the yellow that's there. Regardless, we get this orange tone. Now the green that there's a thick line of yellow, and the green that we see is not really green. It's more a mixing of that very darker, or that very bright blue at the top. Very complex mix here. Super amazing to look at. The one on the right is let dry for 10 minutes before it's dunked in the water. Now we see no difference between the two of them. It really does make me feel like there's not going to be much resistance here. The next writing sample is done on 80 GSM Rhodia dot pad. We have no bleeding, no ghosting. The 1.1 has no feather spread, halo sheen, some shading that's going on. Look at how Rohrer is a bit darker than alt. The extra fine is lighter than the stub with no feather spread, halo sheen, great shading, brown going from dark to light, fox going light to dark, over light to dark, the light to dark. 17 seconds to dry. Medium, same tone as the extra fine with no feather spread, halo sheen, great shading, quick going dark to light to dark to light to dark. Brown goes dark to light to dark to light. So nice. 28 seconds to dry. Scrubby for both show us great color variation because we get great color variation in all of the writing. In the smear test, you could definitely recover it if you smeared while you were writing. Resistance tests are done to see how this ink can be expected to perform on the page, and more importantly, how hard it may be to clean from your pen. The smear is allowed to dry for 3 days before testing it. Looking at the highlighter, I wouldn't use it. There's a lot of blowout that's occurring, which makes me risk averse. So if you need to go back and highlight, don't use this ink. That's true from the chromatography and what we see with this water, where it is really reactivating it and lifting it off the paper. It only took water to get it out of the pen. The pen flush does everything that water does and really nothing more. The 1/3 bleach solution, as you would expect, completely obliterates it, but you're not going to need it. The next writing sample is done on P. Berger paper. Now this paper is not really fountain pen friendly, it's a very student grade paper, and that's the reason we get all of these bleed dots all over the place. Now this is a very constant thing. It would stop you from using the back of this paper, but it does not touch the page underneath. Just something to consider. Not really a lot of ghosting though, despite all that bleeding spots. The 1.1 has tiny feathering all over it, all the way through Rohrer, all the way through Goldgrun. So there is a bunch of feathering, but I don't see it as being what stops someone from using this paper. There's no spread, no halo, sheen, no shade. Extra fine is about the same tone as the stub. Performed much better, no feathering. No spread, no halo, sheen, no shade. 4 seconds to dry. Medium is about the same tone as the extra fine. It does have some minor feathering, like on the K in quick, the HE in the PS in jumps. There's minor feathering, not what would stop someone from using it. There is some spread, but ever so slightly, not all the way to a broad, just a little bit more than a medium. No halo, no sheen. There is some shading, but anytime it gets darker, like the K in quick, the HE in the R in over, we see some feathering occur. 5 seconds to dry. Scrubby for both show a little bit of color variation, but whenever it came in the medium, it came with bad news. Smear test, you could recover it if you smeared while you were writing. For the inks tested, the average viscosity is 2.5, and the realm of normal is 2.1 to 2.9. Rohrer and Klingner's Alt Goldgrun has a viscosity of 1.87, making this a wet ink. If you're interested in how the viscosity is tested and all of that, there's a link to that video down in the description. Now, let's take a look at Levenger paper. No bleeding, no ghosting. The 1.1 has no feather spread, halo sheen. It offers spots of shading, like the H in a Rohrer is a bit darker, the and symbol a bit darker, the T in alt a bit darker. The extra fine is about the same tone as the stub, with no feather spread, halo sheen, better shading as the goes light to dark, quick goes dark to light to dark, brown goes dark to light. 7 seconds to dry. Medium is the same tone as the extra fine with even more standout shading. No feather spread, halo sheen, great shading, the quick dark to dark, brown dark to dark, jumps light to dark, over light to dark. 11 seconds to dry. Scrubby for both show good color variation because it has good color variation. And a smear test, you could definitely recover it if you smeared while you were writing. For the inks tested, the average dry time was 17 seconds, with the realm of normal being from 13 to 21 seconds. Rohrer and Klingner's Alt Goldgrun has an average dry time of 24 seconds, making it take a bit longer to dry than normal. The last writing sample is done on Strathmore writing paper. We have no bleeding, no ghosting. The 1.1 has no feather spread, halo sheen, no shade. The extra fine is a little bit lighter than the stub, with no feather spread, halo sheen, a very nice shading, brown going darker to lighter, over going lighter to darker. 6 seconds to dry. Medium is darker than the extra fine, about the same tone as the stub, with no feather spread, halo sheen, a very nice shading, where you see quick goes darker to darker, brown goes darker to lighter. Nice. 9 seconds to dry. Scrubby for both do show some color variation. It shows better in the medium, and it showed better in the medium writing. Smear test, you could recover it if you smeared while you were writing. Instead of finding inks that look like KWZ's Alt Goldgrun, I would prefer to find an ink that complements its color on the page. I went with a nice brown ink by Atramentis, their El Greco Maroon. Now, if you'd prefer a different complement color, there's links to playlists down in the description. So, What do I think of Rohrer and Klingner's Alt Goldgrun? This has amazing camouflage shading. The only way to not like this is to not like shading, which there's people that's the case. Just look at it as the writing's occurring here. Lovely. Yup, I like it. A lot. So what nib and pen would give the best writing experience with this ink? I found that it really managed to shade very well regardless of what pen I put it in, leading this to be dealer's choice. I hope you got something out of this video, and the next review is going to be on Pen BBS number 224.